We always pray and ask God to take our problems away, our trials and tribulations, turmoil, pain, death, disease, heartbreak. But what if God sent those issues, trials your way? What if God sent the devil to torment you? Like, we never think of that as a possibility. That's hard to fathom, that God would send the devil to torment us. But what if? You all may not know this, but if you really read the Bible, there are multiple stories and verses in there that talk about Satan tormenting people. When you think about King Saul, God sent a spirit to torment him, and David played the harp or something to sort of calm his spirit, to calm that evil spirit. What about Job? God literally had a conversation with Satan about tormenting Job. But God had Satan on a leash. He could only do so much. He did a whole lot, but he couldn't take Job's life. God also didn't let him take his wife's life, which is interesting as well. Two become one flesh, but he did allow Satan to take the lives of Job's kids, his lands, his servants, if I'm not mistaken, his animals, his sheep, the herd. God allowed Satan to take all that stuff. And the boils that were on his body, bumps, oozing. I don't know if he had leprosy or what. God allowed that to happen. God also said, I want to say in the book of Isaiah, that God, something around, I need to find that scripture, but something along the lines of him controlling good and evil. Then the bigger question is, why? Why is God allowing these things to happen? We typically think of God orchestrating miracles and scenarios that seem so, unimaginable. But when it happens, we're like, oh, wow, that's a miracle. God orchestrated that for my life. It's working out for my good. But what if God orchestrates something evil, something horrible, horrific to happen in your life? We never think about that. I'm going through a personal trial right now where I feel like, could God have orchestrated this issue specifically for my weakness? It's a weakness that I feel like most people would be able to easily get over. But me in particular, I'm like the anomaly. I strongly believe it. I talk about it with friends, and they're like, or I hear different stories. I'm like, oh wow, I feel like they wouldn't have no problem with this. I feel like the majority of people would have a problem with it. But me in particular, I'm like, God, why would you give me this trial of all people? It's not easy for me to get over. I'm not over. I've been dealing with it for over a decade. I can also think of scenarios in my life where God orchestrated or used me to bless someone, and it was just so not coincidental. Coincidental, however you want to call it. Yeah, the way it lined up, the timing, a scenario, it was a God orchestrated event. Excuse me, I'm sitting here burping. Side note, I just went to Popeye's Chicken, right? I got the $6 box of chicken. Forgot to ask them to make the order dark meat only. They had the audacity to put 2 dry pieces of breast in there. When I first looked in the box, I was like, okay, it's a breast and a leg. Not a leg, but a wing. I said it's a breast and a leg in here. Wing. There's a breast and a wing in here. And I was like, okay, I can deal with it. It's a wing. I get home, further investigation. It's 2 breasts. Dry pieces of breast at that. I took a couple of bites out of them and tossed it in the trash. I said it ain't worth the calories. It ain't worth the clogging of the arteries. It ain't worth it. Dumped it in the trash. Back to the Bible again. I'm saying this to say, ask God why. The stories that I just explained, aside from Saul, It worked out for Job's good. It worked out for Joseph's good. It worked out for Moses' good. Moses has asked God for a son. God blessed him with a son. Well, Moses, they couldn't have a son. God blessed him with a son. God told him to take the son's life, but he ended up and saved the son in the end. Could God orchestrate evil in your life? And why? God, how do I get over it? How do they get over it? How do we get over it? What's the lesson in it? I do strongly believe that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord.